If you are looking for all things real estate and an in-depth look at market fluctuations and answers to all your buying and selling questions, look no further than real estate expert Lisa Hill. Lisa brings her vast 15-year knowledge directly to you every week, sharing her own struggles as she navigates you through the twists and turns of the real estate world. Lisa has been sober for 9 years and has been motivating people ever since. A speaker, mentor, and teacher, each week Lisa will welcome guests from all facets of the industry to ensure you are as informed as possible before making any real estate decisions. This is the Lisa Hill Show, real estate for the real world.
Hey everyone, it's Lisa Hill, your host of the Lisa Hill Show, real estate for the real world. I am here in the studio with Jim Cooley. Hey Jim, what's up?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
I'm pumped up about your new show.
Thank
I really,
you.
really am. I think it's going to be a good thing, and you've been explaining it to me, and I think it's going to be really cool.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
So, I got to ask you, because I do the other show with another real estate guy. I don't want to say his name. I don't like him, but
I don't either.
The situation is a little different with you. You're here because you want to help the consumer.
Yes.
The people either selling their houses or B, buying houses, both. First of all, what qualifies you for that? What do you do? What does Lisa Hill do?
I'm a real estate broker. I've been selling real estate since 2002.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, this whole podcast came about, like we were talking earlier, because I have so many friends, family, people always ask me questions. People who are either looking to buy houses, they come to me first. So I'm the real estate agent. I sell the houses. I don't do the home loans. They come to me first and say, hey, I want to buy a house. And then I direct them back to the mortgage broker and say, okay, you have to get pre-approved and here's the process. So most people buying houses and even selling houses aren't familiar with the process. They don't know what to do. And I get asked questions all the time. So it's a great resource to, hey, have my podcast and literally go through my emails, my text messages, and just answer some of the questions that people have in general, or hot topics and things that, market updates and questions that people have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now you told me some things about you, and I'm kind of learning as we're going here, but now you've overcome some demons in your life and some things that have made your struggle a little bit harder. Mm-hmm. And I know that a lot of listeners can relate to that. So tell me now, at a point you had an alcohol addiction.
Correct. Yep.
And how did that come about that you no longer have that alcohol addiction?
Well, I'm a sober alcoholic. So I'm still an alcoholic. I'm just sober.
Okay. Got
sober 9 years ago. I started in the business, like I said, 2002. It was like just insane. I mean, it was like, I'm 19 years old and we're closing all these deals, and it seemed like everybody had money. It was like, what's that movie, The Wolf of Wall Street?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much. A little watered down version of it, but pretty close to that. And just living the fast life, not really paying attention to, like the important things in life, which are, family and
career.
Yeah, just going day by day and drinking and spending money and making money, and that was it. And then the market crashed in 2005 2006. 2005, the market was still good.
Okay.
And I realized I had a problem.
Right.
I had a really big problem, and drinking was the answer to that problem, and it no longer worked. So I quit drinking and I got sober, and I found a whole different way of life. So my approach with that happening to me and overcoming that, it totally changed my approach to business completely, 100%.
Absolutely.
Well, it changed my whole life, my outlook on life, everything completely changed. So I live life differently. I don't drink anymore. But yeah, it's something that I do have to pay attention to, and it's something that I work on being a better person every day.
And it's two things that you said right there that really strike me that some people don't understand. One, you're an alcoholic and you always will be.
Yes.
Whether you're drinking or not.
Correct.
It's a daily struggle. Some days are easier, some days are harder. So that really strikes me. And then 9 years is a long time to be sober, or to be sober from any kind of addiction or anything that you're doing that is a learned or bad behavior. So I'm very proud of you for that. And I think that people at home can learn a lot from you in that sense. The other thing that you said was that you had a different outlook. Let me ask you this. Once you stopped drinking, how much better of a real estate broker did you become?
Oh my gosh, way better. I'm better everything.
Oh.
But
I heard you're the best. That's what somebody told me.
It's true. The rumors are true, Jim. They're true. I am the best.
It's weird because I don't know how you and Imran can be the best at the same time, but I guess it just happens.
I don't know. Let's talk about him, but no, I am the best. Actually, we were talking about that earlier. I'm like, well, people think I'm the best. I am the best, but I don't know. I don't know how they know that I'm the best, but I am the best. But no, it has made me a better real estate broker because I can empathize more with people.
Right.
I really can. I care a lot deeper. Like, I care. I take it personal. I probably take it too personal. I mean, I fight for my clients. I mean, I don't even think they know half of the battles that I deal with on their behalf. Because I'm like, hey, nobody gonna, my client, and I'll go to war. I will go to battle for my clients. And it helps me care. I mean, I care more because I truly do. Where before it was like, okay, and not that I wasn't like a piece of shit before, when I was drinking. Actually, this is my show. I'm going to cuss on the show. I say stuff like shit and, bitch and
She
whatever.
was saying way worse stuff before we went on the air.
So anyways, I wasn't a, whatever before, but I really, really care about people on a spiritual level, on a humanity level. And I think about it at night when I go to bed. I do think about all my clients and their family and moving and when we're selling and when they have to move out and when they have to give their notice and, is this going to get fixed? How much is it going to cost them? Can they make these repairs? It really hits home to me.
Right.
So I really do care about it. And I think about it. They're not a number to me or just somebody that I'm never going to talk to again. I plan on every client that I have staying in touch with them forever. They'll never get away from me. Once I sell my house or they buy a house from me or whatever, they're never going to get away from me. I'm going to be there for them.
And I believe you, and I'm going to tell you why. Because we're sitting here and we're taping this podcast that's going to go out to the whole world.
Yeah.
You're in San Joaquin County. You're in the Stockton area. So the only people that you would ever really probably come into contact with are consumers in this area. However, you're doing this podcast to help everyone everywhere. So you're not expecting anything in return other than helping these people avoid the pitfalls that they could possibly fall into.
Pretty much.
And before we went on the air, you told me about a pitfall. Now tell me about this guy because I want people to understand what you can offer them.
Okay.
So tell me about this guy that's decided to sell his home on his own.
Oh my God. Okay. So a gentleman approached me. I have a house for sale. Okay. So he's selling his house separately.
Right.
And so he's looking to buy.
Okay.
Right. So he's selling that house. It's his last house. He's going to retire into this house. So into the new house that he's going to purchase. So I've been in contact with him the last couple weeks, and I talked to him yesterday, and I asked him, how's it going? How's that sale of your house going? And he tells me about all the reports and inspections that he's having to pay for and these repairs. And he said, oh, and by the way, we don't even have that appraisal yet. Okay, you should have an appraisal like the first couple days that you go into contract.
Okay.
And he's paying for things that contractually he shouldn't be paying for.
For instance,
he's paying for a septic report, a well report. He's paying for repairs.
And these are expensive things.
They're about $500 a pop.
Wow.
He doesn't necessarily... Those are things that he could negotiate. So not only are the buyers not invested, because obviously they haven't got even an appraisal done.
Right.
So it's completely out of order. And I feel terrible because this house, he's going to retire after this.
Right.
I mean, this money from the house that he's selling for himself, by himself, is that money he's going to be used to retire, him and his wife.
Okay.
But yet he's still 3 weeks in. And escrow periods are normally 30
no
days. No appraisal, paying for stuff he shouldn't. He's like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. And I feel terrible because I just want to say, okay, here's an outline. Here's what you need to do right now. You have to send him over a notice to perform and you have to send this. And I want to tell him all those things, but I'm not representing him.
Right.
And I just wish that people would have better resources. So I want to be a better resource for people. Granted, it'll probably sell. He'll sell it himself. That's fine. He probably can. Could it be better if he had representation on both ends? Absolutely. I don't think who knows? But I don't think the buyers are necessarily trying to manipulate him or do anything.
Be vindictive.
Yeah. It's just not knowing. And it's so complex that I don't know.
Yeah. And that's with anything. I mean, I think that a lot of people sometimes look at jobs, like for instance, I'm a ring announcer, and people go, oh, anybody could do that. Anybody could pick up a mic and do that. Well, you can't.
No.
I mean, you might sound all right for a minute, but you don't know what you're supposed to say. You don't know how to pronounce names. You don't know when to do things, and you don't see it until it happens. So when someone goes to sell a house and they go, oh, I could do this myself. I don't need a real estate broker. And then they get 3 weeks in and they go, oh my gosh, Lisa, I'm paying for this. I don't have an appraisal. What the hell do I do? Well, I'll tell you what you should have done. You should have got a real estate broker to sell your house for you. So why do people not do that?
Oh, there's a variety of reasons. Well, some people think they can do it themselves. Oh, it's easy. I'll go online and get the forms and whatever. And like what I want to say and I don't say it. Well, I'm saying it now on the podcast, but I'm like, because I teach classes also to other realtors. So I teach realtors that have been in the business 2 years that still don't know how to do it. So what makes you think as a homeowner, you can download some forms and sell it? It opens you up to a lot of liability. Okay. It's not worth it. But they want to save on commission. They think they can do it themselves. Sometimes they'll sell it to a relative, which I'm not totally opposed to that. If they're selling it to someone they know, I'm not as there's
going to be less cutthroat.
Yeah, I'm not exactly. I'm not as anti sell it yourself if it's to a family member or something. That's understandable. But if it's I'm going to put a sign in the yard and do it myself. Oh, just
well, and you said something too. You said that you teach people who have been real estate agents or brokers for 2 years.
Yeah.
Now let's keep in mind you've been doing this now for 15 years.
Yeah.
So that's a long time. And I've learned in my slow process of learning the real estate business that people come, people go.
Yes.
It can be almost a revolving door. There's a lot of turnaround.
There is a lot of turnover.
So when someone can stick with it for 15 years, A, you have a knowledge base that's going to be much larger than most. B, you obviously love what you're doing. So it's kind of the kind of person that you want to go to. You know what I mean? So I think it's good that you're doing this podcast because I know that your target audience is real estate consumers.
Yes.
But I also think that, possibly brokers and agents and so forth, I know it's the same thing, can learn from you as well.
Yeah, of course. I hope they can. I like teaching people. I don't mind. I actually really, really, really enjoy it. I love teaching because I teach better from the mistakes I've made than anything. Because I can go into a class and say, okay, here's what not to do and here's why, because I've tried it.
Yeah.
Because I try things. I probably am a little bit more ballsy than most people. I'll do stuff that normal people don't do.
Right.
Like, oh, what's the worst that can happen? Because when you've gone through something, when you've gone to hell and back, really, when you go through things, you realize that it's not that bad.
Right.
And the fears are just like boogeymen.
Yeah.
And you just do it, and oh well, it doesn't work out, and then you just do something else.
Yeah.
Like
in the fight game, they say everybody should be hit in the face once because then you just realize it's not so bad.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now you can take a few shots.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, whatever. It doesn't even bother me now. Stuff that years before I would never even think of even trying because what if it doesn't? Well, who effing cares if it doesn't? You tried it, and then at least you don't like it, and that's it. I mean,
you fail at 100% of the things you don't try.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So, what can people expect moving forward with the Lisa Hill Show?
Well, I like to bring value. So if I like to teach, educate, and bring value, and if I don't know something, then I'll bring someone in who does.
Okay.
I have a lineup. Next, I have another mortgage broker. They'll be coming in explaining the home buying process. Like I mentioned before, people come to me and then I send them back to the loan officer to get pre-approved. I'm like, okay, are you paying cash? Nope. Okay, you need to get a loan. Have you talked to a loan officer? Did you get pre-approved? Like, nope. I'm like, okay, here you go. Here, I'll send you back to my partner. She'll get you pre-approved and then come back to me, and then we'll start looking at houses. So that's how the process works. So I'll have her in next week, and we'll talk about the home buying process.
Okay.
Yes. And, making your home green, solar panels, all the questions that consumers have, homeowners, home sellers, or people that looking to purchase a home have. we'll answer those questions with the podcast. And then people can always go to my website, write in, ask questions, or any topics that people want to hear. We'll talk about that as well.
And I'm assuming it's just lisahill.com.
It's lisahillteam.com.
Lisahillteam.com.
lisahillteam.com. Yeah.
You have a big team behind you.
I have a good team
A
behind
good team.
me.
Not a big team, a good team.
Not a big team. I have a good team.
Good is better than big.
I have a solid team behind me.
So now, aside from all that, you're also going to be doing things like updating people on the market.
Oh, yeah,
and
of
the
course.
seller's market, the buyer's market, so forth and so on, listings and things like that
Yes.
that you like to talk about. So what other things besides, okay, so we're going to have good interviews. You're going to have good interviews for things that you don't necessarily aren't an expert on, but someone else might be.
Yeah.
So if you want to
And
learn.
someone else to talk to besides you, Jim, because
Nobody likes
can't
talking
chat
to me
the whole time.
No, I'm terrible to talk to. So what sort of things are you going to bring them in the sense of news and updates and things like that?
Market updates, for sure. Absolutely, because it's really important to see. People ask, is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? So, yeah, of course, every week we'll go through what's going on. Like we talked about a little bit before we started recording, that it is a seller's market right now. And why it's a seller's market and the months of inventory and properties that are selling. So to keep people up to date on the market. And
how often does that fluctuate?
Well, we get updates pretty much every month,
Wow.
but it can fluctuate. I mean, it depends on, 1 month over, the properties that were put on the market, they dropped. So we're looking at like a 30% decline in properties that were listed.
Why does that happen? People decide not to sell.
Yeah, it can, for a variety of reasons it can happen, but it's always good to watch it, to see what's going on with the market right now. The holidays, the holidays is always funky. I mean, people tend to want to wait to put their house on the market. Oh, we're going to wait. And then we get an influx usually around springtime of people putting their house on the market.
Okay.
Yeah, that's generally what we see.
So if you're at home and you're thinking, I want to sell my house in the next year, I'm just not sure when, you listen to the Lisa Hill Show and you will get a barometer of when it's a buyer's market, when it's a seller's market, and maybe that will tell you, hey, now's the time to make the move.
And it would be right now because inventory is low, which means there's buyers out there that are looking, especially when the sun comes out. As soon as the sun comes out, our phones ring because people, it's so funny how that happens, like human nature. The sun comes out one day and people are like, I want to buy. Well, inventory is low right now. So if the house is on the market, those buyers, we don't have a whole lot to show them. So it's minimal. So we're seeing multiple offer situations, and we're not seeing for example, on the buyer side. Okay, when buyers are out looking, sellers can be more picky. Sellers can be more picky with the offers they want to accept and how much money that they're willing to give up to the buyer.
Right now.
Yeah. Yes, at this moment.
Okay, so let me ask you this as a consumer, a guy that would buy a house.
Yes.
Let's take a $500,000 house.
Okay.
In that range.
Okay.
In a seller's market, that house goes for $500,000.
Okay.
Now we drop to a real bad buyer's market to where it's just bad.
Yeah.
How much does that house go for?
Well, it depends. If it's priced right, like if you're a seller, okay, and you want to price and your house is $500,000. If it's priced right, it'll go for $500,000.
Okay.
Or maybe a little bit over. Okay. That's how I would price it. I'd go to you and say, okay, Jim, hey, here's your house right here. Here's what's sold in the area. Here's how many days on market. This is how long they're staying on the market. Okay. This is what's sold. What do you think your house is worth based on these other properties that have sold? And then I also look at competition. So I'll take an approach with you and say, look, here's our competition. Here's a buyer looking in that area. These are all the other houses they're going to look at. Where do you think yours adds up?
Okay. Compared.
Compared. If you're a buyer and you're shopping, what do you think that yours would go for?
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the fluctuation, if you have the right real estate broker, isn't as bad.
Correct.
Okay, I understand now.
It can be bad in anything. I just took a listing on Tuesday, and I listed it at $185.
Okay.
It had been listed previously by another agent for $240,000. It didn't sell.
That's a huge difference.
It's huge. Nothing else in that neighborhood sold for that much.
Right.
Because it's not worth that much. So I showed him.
Does that fall on the broker then, the real estate agent?
Well, yeah, pretty much. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, when you look at it, like I said, I went to him and said, okay, here's what I think that your house would sell for. based on these things. It's been sitting on the market for 6 months. Your area, things are selling in 22 days. So
Wow.
why
That's fast.
Yeah. And his was the highest one in the area, and it wasn't the best looking one in the area.
Okay.
Which is nothing's wrong with that. It just wasn't worth that.
Right.
And no one was looking at it. He said, oh, no one looked at it. Well, I want to look at it either. I showed him. I'm like, okay, if you're a buyer, why would you want to look at your house when it's, 50,000 higher than the one down the street and they look the same? Why would you wouldn't even want to go look at it?
Right. So those are some of the things that you can learn listening to this show moving forward, not just from you, but from others. So let's do this now. So now that we have them, they're listening, we understand about the buyer's market. Tell us about the market right now in this area.
Yeah, like I said, 2.3 months of inventory, which means it's a seller's market.
So explain that inventory. So you have this many houses that will. So you say 2.3 months means.
So if we
they
stopped,
should be gone by then.
Yes. If today we stopped putting houses on the market, nobody listed another property, it would take 2.3 months to sell all the inventory would be gone.
And that's not very much.
No, it's not.
What does it get to? What is it?
Well, I mean, gosh, in the foreclosure days when it was a huge buyer's market, it was like a year.
Wow. Okay.
Of inventory.
Okay.
So to give you an idea, a buyer's market, more than 6 months of inventory that's a buyer's market. Seller's market is less than 3 months of inventory. And so a neutral market is between 3 and 6 months of inventory.
Okay. So we're just on the other side of that right now at
Yes.
2.3.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a seller's market. And it's been a seller's market
For
for a few months.
Okay.
Yeah. And our average price, which is way up, is $444,000. That's our average price. Yeah, which is high
okay.
in San Joaquin County.
And that's in San Joaquin County right now.
Yep. So yeah, values are up, interest rates are low, and it is a seller's market right now.
So if you are in San Joaquin County and you want to sell your house, call Lisa Hill. LisaHillTeam.com.
Nice plug.
I can say that. You can't. I'm the boss.
Yeah.
No, I'm really not. Okay, so that's good. So there's a lot of things that people can look forward to on this show, and I've already learned a ton just sitting here, and that's.
Yeah, you're gonna be an expert.
I am. I'm gonna be a real estate guru. I'm gonna be Donald Trump.
You are. You're gonna just do your own. You're gonna do your own pod. You're like, oh, Lisa, can you be a guest on my show?
I'm taking over the real estate market in San Joaquin County. Period. So then let me ask you this: what is your goal? I know you want to help people, but why is Lisa Hill sitting in this studio right now taping this podcast?
Because I like to hear myself talk.
I like hearing you talk too. Contractually obligated.
I wrote it down on a piece of paper and slipped it over to Jim. You guys didn't see that. No, my ultimate goal is to help people. Ultimately, that's it. To help people and use a platform and help people.
Okay.
And educate.
So let's say someone's listening to your podcast in 3 weeks.
Let's hope so.
And they will be, because I'm helping you.
Let's hope it's one person other than my mom.
Okay. Hi, Mom. And they have a question. Do you have a problem with someone emailing you and saying, hey, I listened to your podcast. You said this, but I just want to clarify. Are you okay with that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I
like that.
Interacting with the listeners.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's what this is based on, was all the interaction kind of behind the scenes. People calling, texting, emailing, Facebook messaging me, hey, how do I get the value of my house? Hey, is it a good time to refinance? Hey, what do I need to do to sell my house? And what if, I'm getting a divorce, and why is, he's still on the note and not on the deed and whatever. So random questions all the time. Yeah, totally fine. This is what this whole thing is about.
Okay. And then I think that we should I want to keep our ear to this gentleman that's selling his house on his own, because we have an update now. He's paying for this, he's paying for that. There's been no appraisal. So maybe next week we give an update, like, did the house sell? Did he get an appraisal?
Yeah.
And I think that because I think that if we follow a story like that, then people can kind of relate to it in their situation and go, okay, well, I don't want that to happen to me.
Yeah.
So I need to do this. Let me ask you a question that's on the mind of every consumer.
Okay.
Why, in just a few words, not in a few words, it's going to take more than that, but in a few sentences, why should I hire a broker / real estate agent to sell my home if I can legally do it myself?
Oh my gosh, there's so many reasons. You're
Okay,
gonna
that's
give
too
me
many
a
words
few.
already.
You're gonna give me.
No,
how I started out with the laugh?
I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me.
So the laugh is the first indication.
Just the laugh. That's it. I laughed at you.
That's it. The silence, the laugh, and then silence. Well, a couple things. The main thing I think is liability, because people can come back and sue you, and people will. We're in a in a culture of sue. I mean, people will sue you for anything, especially if they think you have money.
Right.
So a home seller, okay, you didn't give me this. Someone will come back a year later, the roof's leaking, I'm going to sue you if it's not disclosed properly. So you want to hire a professional that can disclose all of those things to the buyer, make sure that they sign off on the correct documentation. And that way, if it does go, the way that I run every single one of my transaction is, if we're going to court, how would a judge look at this, period? Every email I write, everything I do is, I do it in the eyes of a court.
Okay.
So if a judge is going to look at this, or an attorney or somebody reasonable, if they're going to look at it, I have no problem. Everything that's done and is documented, like, I take an offensive approach, or take a defensive approach. I'm like, okay, you're gonna sue me. What do I need?
I know I'm getting
I've been sued. I've been sued before, and it's really,
I can see that,
petty and stupid. It's really petty and stupid most of the time, but still, you have to go through all the document. It's number one is liability.
Why? So self-protection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Aside from like the marketing thing, yeah, of course, you want to get the most exposure and the right buyers and blah, blah. I'm not going to go through the big old sales part of it, because you could put your house online and sell it yourself.
But it's still common sense that the more exposure you get on anything you're selling,
absolutely,
the better price
and the right
you're gonna
exposure too.
Yeah, and then you've got people that are putting in bids on a house rather than just one guy that's like, hey, I want to give you $50,000 less.
Yeah.
And now you've got 5 people that are putting in higher than what you're asking.
Yeah.
So I see that. So
I
definitely
think the number one reason is just liability.
Okay.
Just protect yourself. And yeah, I mean, people will say, sell your house with me and not yourself, because I can market it, I can do this, I can do, all of these other reasons, which are great reasons, by the way. But I think the only important thing is, protect yourself and don't get sued.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great answer. Perfect answer.
Yeah.
So first episode, we got some of that stuff out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
People know what to expect from you now. It's the Lisa Hill Show. What is there's a subtitle.
Oh, real estate for the real world.
Real estate for the real world, because we do not do real estate in fake worlds around here. Okay, so the Lisa Hill Show, real estate for the real world. Next week, who is the guest that you alluded to?
Letitia Stock.
Okay.
She works at Stearns Lending. She's been in the real estate industry for 30 plus years, and she is amazing.
Okay, and we just talked about 15 years for you, 30 years. So you're going to get 45 years of expertise next week on the show.
Yes.
That people can look forward to. And you guys are going to talk about
home buying process.
Okay.
So what it takes. We also have some really, really awesome grants in San Joaquin County.
Oh, wow.
Which free money.
I like that.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the grants and overall home buying process and yeah, what people need to expect when you're buying a house, because most people don't know.
Absolutely. Okay, so there you have it. I mean, the first episode, now people know a little bit about you. People know what to expect from the show. When we go off the air, you're going to explain to me how to get some of this free money, because I always like free money. And then, when is your show going to come out every week? When can people expect to find your show?
Well, depends on when you can finish editing it.
Oh. So you guys expect at least a show every 2 months.
We'll do a show at least every 10 days.
Okay, there you go. So at least every 10 days. Hopefully we'll get 4 out a month.
Yes.
Which is good, because the more information, the better, the more you know. Obviously, we all learned that from the G.I. Joe cartoon in the 80s. Knowing is half the battle.
Yep.
And that's what we're going to do here.
Absolutely.
So you won't have to hear me very often. I won't be on here, but Lisa will be on her own. I just wanted to interview her a little bit so that people could learn a little bit about what they're getting from this program. So there you go. I mean, I'm done. What do you have to say to your listeners?
Thank you so much. Yeah, you guys tune in. Like I said, we're going to be recording at least once a week. We'll have something out once every 10 days. If you have any questions, want to hear a topic, you can, reach me on Facebook, or my website is lisahillteam.com or thelisahillshow.com as well. And yeah, look forward to serving the community.
No Twitter, no Insta?
I'm old. I don't do that.
All right.
Okay, I do have Twitter.
I know you do.
It's, what is it? Lisa Hill 209, I think.
At Lisa Hill 209.
I don't even think the app's on my phone. It's too confusing. There's too many of those things. I'm old. Okay?
I use Facebook.
I know I'm a millennial. Supposedly I fit into that category, but I'm more like an old person. So it's just Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm just kidding.
All right,
All right, thanks, Jim.
All right.
Thanks for stopping by the Lisa Hill Show. For more information, please visit lisahillteam.com. Catch us on the next episode when Lisa brings you more real estate for the real world.